All right, we're now live streaming on YouTube also. So welcome to our GameCon pre-con session. This is just a micro session that we're running today with our colleague, friend, family member, Bernardo Letayf, and also a well-respected legend in the industry. I don't know if he's old enough to be a legend. I'm not sure, but definitely a legend, Roman Rackwitz. And so we're going to be here today talking about, first off, the gamification of our upcoming event, which is GameCon 48V. So starting February 26th, we'll be going 48 hours around the globe. So around the globe twice with speakers from every continent except Antarctica. And they'll be speaking in their live time, prime time live. And so we'll have everything recorded, so you don't have to stay up for 48 hours. And the conference is 100% gamified. And we do that with the help of our friend, Bernardo Letayf, and his software, which is called Blue Rabbit. So Bernardo, welcome. Thank you so much for spending some time with me today. I know your life is exploding with great things happening. So thanks for taking a few minutes to talk with us about what we can expect with the gamification and what that looks like when we gamify an event.
Thanks, Monica. I'm really happy to be with you, with all of you today, and I'm more than happy to help you host again GameCon for 48 very incredible hours where we have people. I think that right now we're somewhere around 62 or 67 speakers.
Yes.
From every single possible place on the planet. So the richness of the conference this year is going to be even better than last one.
I know. I know, as hard as that is to believe, it's even better. And one of the things that I'm loving about it is the work that Jonathan Peters, who's on with us, he's our Chief Motivation Officer. He was diligent in researching the concept of what we're calling, because I don't really know the right term for it, but geosensitive pricing. Because if we're going to be a global event, it's not equitable to assume that the price that is fair in the United States is also equitable in every other part of the world. And so to truly be a global event, we have to be equitable in and have equity in pricing. And so he is set up in 26 different currencies, geosensitive price, so that everyone who's a learning and development professional from around the globe who wants to bring gamified, game-based learning into their programs can be involved with it. So what are we doing? Are we getting a leaderboard, Bernardo? What are we doing to gamify this event? Are we going to get some badges? What are we doing?
Well, you're going to not get a leaderboard for sure. That's one of the very first things, and Roman here can you can see how he's smiling, because every time we talk about gamification, the first thing he's like, "Oh, just leaderboard." And what we like to do is to construct the content and the player journey in a way that you are actually tracking your progress throughout the conference, and that you are able to see what you're learning and see how you're growing compared to all the other players. And there's an item shop where you can exchange some of your points for a set of rewards from the speakers and from the sponsors. Which basically all that content that we're adding there, it's for you to enrich the experience and enrich your learning further down the road. But in reality, you end up following the speakers and the conference itself, not because you're going to get some points out of it, but because you're actually able to track your progress and grow with the entire community in the entire world, which is the number one thing that we love about building journeys. It's the journey itself is what should be enjoyable, not necessarily because of the prize that you're going to earn at the end. And this is what we have realized throughout the past couple of years. By couple, I mean almost 10 years, that this is what makes a successful gamification system. You don't play a game because you're going to get something out of at the end of it. You play a game because it's enjoyable, because it's fun, because it's engaging, because it's an incredible experience, and you want to repeat that. And then you finish playing a card game, you're like, hey, let's do that again. Hey, let's go through it again. And I really want learning experiences to be like that. Hey, I just went through a very crazy class of calculus or algebra or history or something like that, but I would like to do that again. I think I can do it better next time. And if you approach every problem in life like that, then everything's going to change. And that's the one thing that we want to share with you through the gamification of a gamification conference. by allowing you to play it and see what you can learn from it, track your progress, and really be able to go back to it and say, hey, this we will learn a lot, and here's all that we've learned, and we can use it and reuse it, and we've been having a lot of fun. But at the same time, it has been so enriching that we can repeat it. We should repeat it. So that's more or less what we're doing. And we're using our theme for leaders and legends that we used also last year. So you're going to be following on the next steps of the journey after we defeated the dragon last time.
That's really good, because there was journeys that we did not get to complete last year. So I'm super excited I'm calling this chapter 2.
Yep.
Or season 2. Can't decide which way to go. Book or series? I don't know, but it is part 2 of this journey. Yeah.
I like going more with books rather than
Okay.
series.
We'll do chapter 2 then.
I don't have time to either of them, but to see read a book or watch a series. But
well, that's one of the great things for those professionals who are wanting to bring gamification into their adult learning programs, whether it's higher ed or corporate training of some sort, that no better way to be learning how to do it than to experience it yourself. Yeah. Right? So you get that understanding of, oh, I never considered doing this, is really interesting. And then you're also at the same time having the same emotions that your learners have when they're engaged. So there's this huge opportunity for insight in a short period of time because you're actually experiencing it. So it's a really great feature that you've added to the conference.
It's easier when it's always easier to be. If we talk about the theory of any subject and then we tell you, hey, do it now, nobody can actually do it. When you experience what you're going to be building for, your approach to the learning and to the development of something, it's completely different. So that's what we want to achieve. You to experience something that you will be able to build in the future. And again, I repeat this every time, not necessarily because you're going to be using Blue Rabbit to do it, but now you know how it could look like for the development of your own project and what you can design out of it. And Roman and I have a little surprise for you in a minute.
I know, and I know Roman has. So before Roman comes in, though, I do want to say that the gamification of it, there are really cool rewards, and those rewards are based around the learning that's happening. So it's not like tablet. It's more like the framework that a speaker speaks of, or some coaching with that speaker, or the deck of cards that they use to develop the game. So it's all these great tools that you can earn. And the really great thing, now this is really terrible grammar, but Bernardo has taught us that no one deserves nothing. So you don't just get something because you show up, right? It's the engagement that earns those rewards. So, all right, good. Now what's Roman doing? What's going on with you two?
Well, Roman, you want to kick it off?
Oh, I think you already made an amazing segue a little bit to that. I mean, you talked about that already, and it fits a little bit even with the question that Lane is correct, that Lane put in the chat, that you mentioned journeys. And the point is, when we're talking about learning, and the thing is that no one learns because of the learning. It's you're realizing something. You have an experience where you're failing in real life, where you see that, oh, there's an obstacle and I can't overcome it. And this is the perfect moment or trigger for someone to be open to sit down, or to not sit down, hopefully, but get your stuff and learn and try to. And it's also not about learning. It's about the feeling of the personal progress because of the stuff that you learned. So it's only about the mastery part. And so it becomes a journey. Yeah, you have the trigger in the real life, and then perhaps you have your working environment or program, whatever. But it has to be a seamless connection between what happened in real life, the trigger. Then you go through the journey in order to become better. And the only thing that you care about is that it's not even that you solve at the end. You're not caring about that you are able to solve at the end the obstacle, or you can overcome it. It's more about you worked hard, you put the time and effort in it, you realized you became better, you mastered something, and so that at the end that you can overcome the obstacle, it's just a side effect of that. That's it's, and this is nothing that gaming industry made up or whatever, or the entertainment industry or the learning industry. This is pure evolutionary biology. The only thing our brain is, the only thing why we have a brain, it is because, okay, we can seek for new environments, for something that we don't know yet, curiosity, try to make it a comfort zone by learning, and so to increase the probability of survival. And gamification, from my point of view, I think that gamification can bring this atmosphere, this necessity back into our lives, because, to be honest, by becoming a developed society and by progressing as humanity, we have to admit that we designed this need of, oh, I have to be open-minded, I have to survive, whatever, out of the system. So now everything is efficient, everything is foreseeable. There is no surprise anymore. There is almost no need anymore for our brain to be in an alert mode. But we changed that over the last, let's say, 2,000, 3,000 years. But of course, our brain, to adapt to this new situation, it will probably need 100,000 years. So I think we will have a lot of time ahead for the need of gamification.
Yeah, very good. Very good.
On that note, one of the things that we want to introduce, and I don't know if this is we should do it just like this, but Roman and I are working on a new piece of software that we are going to be releasing in the next couple of months. We cannot obviously tell you, hey, log into this place and find it, because we're still under development. But the one thing that that we want to do is offer the world a way of creating journeys. I don't think that there's anyone who has put it best in different talks than Roman. He has been so consistent and so insistent in the journey that you have to create. And I am a great journey creator and a great journey designer. I live for that. I do that within Blue Rabbit a lot. But he has been a lot more vocal about it. You have to think in journeys when you talk about gamification, and it has to be a journey that you're planning. Imagine when you play a video game that requires you to go through the entire experience and everything, you prepare yourself for the final challenge, and most of the time you overcoming the final challenges of all those great video games or all those great adventures, sometimes it's just a matter of chance. Sometimes you just don't get lucky and you lose and you have to start over, and then you lose and you start over. And many of those times in our lives, in human development, it's actually an opportunity, and not everybody gets the same opportunity. However, the walk you walk towards that path has a lot of value. And you might not get lucky at the end, because that's how it is, but you actually grew a lot in the process. And that is what you need to understand and capitalize on. The walk itself has so much value for every person out there that this is what we should be focusing when we design our gamification experiences. And this is what we're looking to share with you. And that's why we're building this new tool. I'm going to let Roman tell you the name of the tool, because we're really excited about it and we're really engaged about it. But I really want him to open it up. He invited me to design it. He called upon me, so I think it's his righteous right to talk about the name and what it's about.
No, man, we have to be honest. I mean, I came to you, but without you, we would never be here where we are right now. And you came up with a name, actually. So, as Bernardo said, it's about journeys. Yeah, we really see it as a journey. It's the same in games. It's not about reaching the end. No one wants to reach the end of a great game. You don't want to. Yeah, you don't want to quit it. And so it was really about our journeys. And the point is, and this is just one thing before I tell you the name. Every time when we talk about journeys, Bernardo and I, and someone is listening, someone immediately says, yeah, okay, but we have these Sure, there is journey software. People are in customer experience, user experience, they're creating journeys. The problem here is that they are seeing journeys just as a medium for linear progress. So it's just, hey, we make it easy for you to go from step to step. The point is, when we're talking about journeys in a game-like scenario, it's exactly the opposite. It's not about designing all the obstacles out of the system. It's about introducing challenges, again, in your otherwise boring life or whatever it is. We just don't value efficiency. I mean, everyone thinks, hey, it's amazing if I can use, there's a straight way to go to the product, or if I come into the shop and then I have to do 5 steps and then I can buy the product. From a rational point of view, it sounds so logical, but from an emotional point of view, what keeps us engaged, it's just the opposite. No one is excited about a convenient product. We respect it, we like it, but we are not emotional about it. And so journeys are much more about, so this is how we are defining it more. It's about, and this is also, I think, that what gamification is there for. It's about a journey that unfolds in front of you over time. That's important, not immediately. There has to be some kind of period of time. So that unfolds in front of you over time, depending on your choices and behavior, and helps you to become a better person and a better version of yourself. And I think this is also backed up by science, actually, when you look at neuroscience and when and how neurotransmitters are being released in what kind of situations. And it's most often during such a journey. And so we look for a name, of course, and so Bernardo came up with it. So we are calling it Tabby. And Tabby is, it's Japanese, and it stands for journey. And of course, in the Eastern Hemisphere, they have a lot of different, they have sometimes the same name, the same term, but with different meanings. And they are much deeper, from my point of view, much more complex. And so this is a software and how we call it. And as Bernardo said, what we want to achieve is that everyone is able to create a journey for everything. And by using the software, you're already natively using it in a gamified way. So you're not stepping into the trap of making it fast and efficient and linear. Yeah. And this is one of the most amazing things, actually, that I thought about is while we are designing that, is I mean, if you think about who is designing journeys, these are the people, not the customers. These are the people in the back office of companies. And the crazy thing is that even if they create an amazing journey in the back end, where they say, hey, this is someone's going into the shop and then he's experiencing that kind of stuff, the customer is not realizing that. No one is providing the journey designed to the end user. So the actual target group, no one knows, oh, I just was part of a journey that they designed. Yeah, and so what our software is doing, it's helping you to create the journey, and then at the end you're able to distribute the journey in a scalable way to your target group, no matter if it's about 2 guys, 1 guy, or 1,000. And the way how it's built, everyone, even if it's a scaled journey, so it's the same from its origins, everyone can experience it in an individual way. Yeah. And it's about unlocking, progressing, and not about reaching or achieving something.
That's really good. I love it. I love 2 things about that specifically is that it really is a reflection of real life, because everything that we aspire as we move towards that, there's always a combination of knowledge and then skill, but there's also still luck, right? There's still luck that plays into it. We don't all get where we want to get to. And the other thing I love about it is that, you look at these case studies, I think like of what's that one car that they sell the car, it's like in a vending machine, Carvana, like how consumers couldn't get behind that because it's too easy. Like our brains won't accept that this is something that we can trust. when there's when insurance companies cut out too many steps in an application process, the consumer doesn't trust it because we're expecting a challenge. And so it goes contrary. So I love that we're not making it easy. That's really good, right? I love it. And that's what we seek, things that are difficult, and we seek to master that.
Yeah.
Well, the one thing that we really want to do is make it easy to build, but not necessarily easy to complete. And
Good.
And what I think that we should make a very clear differentiation of terms. It's not the same to say if something is easy as simple, and at the same time difficult or complicated. So we're trying to make a system that won't be hard for you to learn how to use, that you will be able to upload your content fairly easily, fairly straightforward, and also allow you to follow certain of the principles of gamification that both Roman and I believe. We really want you to design a journey, a rich journey with different scenarios, with different paths, with the appropriate learning curve for most people, and that you get help from the system to do that. But at the same time, we don't want you to require 2 doctorates to be able to build it.
Right.
Right. So, and
Answer
then,
me.
yes.
How are you spelling tabby? How does it sound?
TABI.
TABI.
It's a very simple.
Yeah.
You can go to tabby.one and find a fantastic wallpaper.
Tabby dot what?
One, the number one, tabby.one.
O-N-E. All right, good. Is this, to me, it sounds like it could be both consumer facing, employee facing, social
Everything.
facing, like any direction that you want to take gamification for behavior, it would fit. That's right? Yeah, it's not just one direction.
No.
Yeah, of course, it's built out of our experience with our clients. And this is where we realize the need. So right now, also the cases that we are using it for, and already talking to former customers of ours, is, for example, retail, and classic products, like you said in the beginning before we started this, that you're fascinated about wine. Classic product for this. It's also for a very famous pharma company for their sales employees, where it is, and that's the point where I say, hey, we want our salespeople to stay with us for at least 4 years, but on average, they are only staying 2 years in the industry. So how can we create a journey that makes it obvious for them that, hey, while I'm an employee of this company, I'm becoming better, not in reaching business goals. No one cares about business goals emotionally. Yeah, but I'm becoming better in my skills. And there's for the next 4 years, there's enough to discover and to progress on. And then, for example, also in software, it's the same thing. I mean, how often are we using software that has, I don't know, 200 features, and we are only using 20? Why? Because we are overwhelmed. Right. And so we are not realizing how we could become better. And so and the software that we are using is able, from our point of view, of course, over time we will see and how everyone is going with it, but it's possible to be adapted to all these different scenarios.
Yeah, when you think of pharma, I also love, because conversations recently about how patients who are on long-term medication for symptoms that they don't really see, like let's just say blood pressure or diabetes, like they have this abysmal rate of retention. Like they've, even when cost is not the factor, having patients stay on their medications long-term is something that pharma really battles. And this sounds like that could be a great application for the software too. So really excited for both of you. I know there's a couple questions in the chat I want to make sure we hit, because we're almost at our 30-minute mark. So we're going to violate my definition of micro session. So I don't know that there is a concrete, but question, what are the biggest factors to keep in mind when adding gamification to the personal development and connecting it to real life?
Wow. I think that I'm going to answer that real quickly. I think that Victoria, I can't remember any time her last name, Victoria. I'll link
Yes.
her to this,
Yeah.
but she has a very good example of it. When you try to design personal development in gamification, you have to consider two things. You are the designer and the player of the same adventure. So when you try to connect those two things, it gets a little fuzzy because sometimes you want to game your own game and then you try to trick yourself into getting some achievements. But there is she has, I think, about 6 or 7 books around that concept, and we can dive into it if you want. I can share some of her information. That's on one level, and on the other level, if you're talking about personal development, like what the HR department is trying to consider with their employees, there are a lot of things, and I would say the first thing to avoid is over justification effect. You have to target developing yourself into a journey as mastering as and developing yourself and growing, regardless of the reward at the end. If you get the players to focus on the journey and focusing on growth and not focusing on the next, I don't know, when they scale you on a new role or a new salary or anything like that. If you focus on the journey and become better, it's going to be very successful.
Very good. Very good. And one other that Lane, excellent quote. Kate asked a question. What is one small thing using gamification you can do to dip your toe in and get buy-in from the C-suite? So without overwhelming, good question, Kate. Very good. Thank you.
I just would like to understand what the C-suite is about.
Oh,
Are we talking
C-suite, like chief executive officer, chief
okay.
operating officer. Yeah. So yeah, in our abbreviation, we call that C-suite. So yes, okay, good question.
So this is our daily life, and the point is, of course, at the first thing you have to, which kind of C-level you're talking to. Yeah, at the end, it doesn't really matter if they believe in gamification. To be honest, the point is, at the end, they have to defend their own decision to put budget in it by proving that they improved some kind of KPI. So of course you have to find out which KPI they want to increase or decrease, or at the end want to take as a proof that it was worth to put the budget in it. But the point is that it's for us, it's always about two worlds. In the official world, it is okay, of course we will get the people to do blah 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 in order that you can improve the KPI. Yeah. And in the unofficial, so in our real gamification designers life, we are thinking about we are then thinking, okay, what kind of behavior do we need? And how would the journey look like with that kind of behavior? And how do we gamify that? How do we make that masterable? I don't know if you say that, but that's the point. And then the thing is, at the end, we have to design it for the end user, even if it's contrary to the KPI.
Yes,
that's the important thing, because most KPIs are built up or can be improved by efficiency. Most of them. Yeah. The problem is efficiency is the opposite of a game-like behavior, because you don't. If it's efficient, you can see what's coming next. It becomes boring. It becomes tedious, monotone, whatever. So to improve these, so if you want to stay in that kind of activity, tedious and boring, the only thing from my point of view that's really working is the extrinsic stuff, like rewards, points, badges, bonus, nudges, whatever. But of course, that's not intrinsic motivating like what we want to do. So our part is, so like always, we have to create this journey that someone can go and see, oh, I'm becoming better in something. It's worth my time. Yeah, it makes me better for whatever it takes. And then we have to design something like I don't know how to say it, a converter or whatever, a touch point that's able to transfer whatever they are doing, whatever they are achieving, into the KPI of the CEO. It's very abstract in this way, sorry, but it's always the same. The C-level is, and this is only one thing, is we just had it with a big car manufacturer here in Germany. That we had at the end, it was the case that they said, okay, oh, I know it. We have to look in. We have to take the journey. We have to think about it strategic in 1 year. But I have to prove my point in 3 weeks. So I don't care. Give me the numbers. That's a problem.
Yeah. I would think that there are, I know that we're almost done in time, but try to find within your own gamification objectives one thing that can give you quick data, and try and use that for the C-level, because they're going to want to see results ASAP. And not all the time it can be done. So try to build a prototype and release it with a focus group as fast as possible. Once you get some numbers, you come back to them, see 20 people did this and this what happened. Imagine what's going to happen when 2,000 do it. That's what you need to get the C-level to catch it. At least in my experience, that worked.
Nice.
And in that, don't try and add all the bells and whistles to that. Keep it real basic. Like we call it low resolution. Just get something basic into the hands of some end users and get some numbers. And of course, one of the challenges is we're oftentimes starting without any kind of measurement. So how are we going to now show this improve? Because no one was measuring. No one was measuring nothing up until this point. So, but do it quick, Kate. Like Bernardo said, good, Roman, very good. I knew as I was getting ready for this, there's no way we're doing this in 15, 30 minutes. I just knew that wasn't going to happen because, well, first off, it's been years since Roman and I got to see each other and talk, have a conversation. Bernardo and I never have a call that's less than
an hour.
But we're delighted that you were all here with us. And this is just one example of what our micro sessions are going to be about. And when we look at 48 hours, that's a lot of hours, but still it's really time restrictive because we insist in building that schedule that there is hands-on application time, skill building time for you to take a concept and then try that out with some colleagues and experience what that design concept or framework that one of the speakers is sharing with us, how does that work and how could that work for you? So that means we have to limit the number of speakers that we put in those 48 hours, which is why we wanted to do these pre-conference sessions also, because there were some speakers we just couldn't get them in because we are going around the globe in their prime time. We just ran out of spots. And you can tell that these two are legends in the industry. So connect with them on LinkedIn. Make sure you connect with them. Register for GameCon 48V. Speakers will be there as much as they can, hanging out to network with you. You can sit down at a table and talk with them one-on-one, ask them questions. And of course, Jonathan, our Chief Motivation Officer, and myself, Monica Cornetti, President of Sententia, will be there, not the entire 48 hours, but we will be present, very present. So thank you for being with us today, everyone. Have a great rest of your Thursday. Tomorrow morning, I'll be here at 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time because I'm interviewing Hanshika Gupta. And so she's based in India. So it's more her evening, my early morning. But if you can join us at 8 Eastern, it's the same login. We'll be streaming live on YouTube, and we'll be discussing the work that she's doing in corporate training with gamification. So she's real life application inside of corporate in the organization she's working within. So join us tomorrow for that. We'll see you again. Thanks so much, everyone. Thanks for being here. Appreciate you.